but this good profit margin at the end of the day, you're still making 30% on your money. And if you really
very
think
good,
about it, if you're putting 10% down, you're making 100, 200% cash on cash return.
Yeah.
But if you try to force the deal and try to say, oh, I think I could squeeze this rehab for 35 and ends up being 45, and then you say, oh, I think I could get 310 for this house, but you only get 300, there goes your profit. It's gone.
So yeah, here we are again, with Genesis Martinez from G Elite Capital.
Correct.
And this section right here, we're going to be focusing not just on the personal aspect of things, but really on what you do, which is hard money lending. And for those out there that don't know what hard money lending is, for those that want to be an investor but don't know where to start, or people that have the means but don't know if they can be an investor, elaborate for us a little bit, man. Give them a little few gems on that subject.
So hard money is not like your conventional loans or traditional lending, right? We don't look at necessarily credit too much.
Okay.
Some even private lenders don't even look at your credit at all. And you just need to have a down payment, a good deal that makes sense, right? That has some meat on the bone.
And when you say makes sense, what do you mean?
So most of the time when you're buying an investment property, you want to be at 75% of what the property will be worth after you fix it, minus rehab costs.
Okay.
You want to be there. So the deal has to have some money to be made, right? Because after carrying costs and doing your rehab,
after all is said and done, there has to be something left over.
Right, 15 to 20% return on investment.
Okay.
Right?
So for those investors coming to you and say, this is what I want to do, I have a little money, do I got to show you taxes?
Nope. We don't look at tax returns. Nope. We don't look at income.
I don't have to show you pay stubs, nothing like that, right?
Okay. As long as you have the capital to close on the loan, covering closing costs and down payment, we cover up to 90% of the purchase and 100% of rehab costs.
Boom.
So we can actually get you the rehab money as well in the loan. It's held in escrow and it's a draw process. So the property needs to be repaired first. So just say you have a $50,000 rehab budget and you complete the first $10,000 worth of work.
Okay.
You submit a scope of work to us and we release the money to you within 48 hours so you can continue the project.
So you keep drawing until the project is done. Right? Okay.
And again, hard money is just, there's private lenders that do hard money and then there's hedge funds. So I actually have relationships with all of them.
So you have more options.
Correct. So sometimes people have 500 score. I can still get it
depending
done.
on their scenario, you see what's best.
Correct. And then we get, like I said, we have the hedge funds. They sometimes, require like a 600, 620 score. If you don't have experience. Now, once you have experience, they really don't care anymore.
What's considered experience?
One exit. So if you have one rental property within the last 2 to 3 years, or if you have one fix and flip that you did within the last 2 to 3 years.
That would be considered experience.
That's
and you're seeing a little differently than somebody starting?
Yeah, once you have one, they know that you have the experience and they feel more comfortable giving you better terms.
Giving you more loans.
More leverage, higher leverage, right? So if you have one, most likely you're going to get that 90% on the purchase price.
Correct. Okay.
Now, if you don't have experience, most likely you're going to have to put 15 to 20% down. Okay.
Now, obviously, when you make these investments and people come to you and want to make these moves, obviously it's for a profit.
Absolutely.
Are there times that you don't make a profit?
I've seen it. I've seen it. People undervaluate construction. They overvaluate what the deal will sell for. They're not watching the market closely. Right. When rates spiked, you saw markets soften up. So you got to give them that price on. Maybe you have to give seller concessions to help that person buy that property. So in certain markets, you got to be careful.
Okay. So definitely there is a chance that you can lose money.
Yes.
It's just a calculated risk, obviously.
Yes. Right? But I've never lost on a deal, and
knock on wood. No, that's good to know. Yeah.
But once you get good at evaluating the deals and knowing what they're at, and you actually have real relationships with contractors, you know what your budget's going to be. And then we always put like a 10% contingency. Like we always add 10% to make sure, all right, if any unforeseen things happen,
or something.
Yeah. And it always happens in construction, especially flips. Plumbing issues, electrical
So a lot of surprises could come up.
You pull the drywall back and it's like cloth electrical wiring. You got to rewire the house.
That's costly. Yeah, absolutely.
$8,000, $6,000 to $8,000 depending on the size of the house. So, always want contingencies in place. And I think when you're smart on buying, the profit's always made on the buy. I try to tell people. Some people try to squeeze.
The profit is always made
on the buy.
On the buy.
On the purchase.
Okay.
As long as you run those numbers right and give yourself that cushion, you're gonna make money regardless.
All right.
But if you try to force the deal and try to say, oh, I think I could squeeze this rehab for 35 and ends up being 45, and then you say, I think I could get 310 for this house, but you only get 300, there goes your profit. It's gone.
So I would say also due diligence is important.
Yes.
Right?
Work with someone who knows what they're doing.
Okay.
Even get a second opinion on your comps, your ARV.
Okay.
And get a second opinion on contractors for the rehab work.
So due diligence and working with experienced people pretty much kind of gives you maybe a 99.9 chance of making things right and being successful and obviously making a profit. Right? So there you have it.
And even the banks or even the private guys, they don't like touching deals where they see small margins. So if I come back and say, hey, man, this deal's not going to work, some people get upset. They're like, oh, no, I know I can get this done for this much.
They believe that
I can sell it for this much. I'm like, I was like, if the bank's telling you no, they're not comfortable touching it. Yeah. And they give people 90% all day.
So when the bank's saying no, most likely it's not a good deal.
No. Okay. And I will evaluate the deal for them, and I'll tell them, offer this much. Oh, I'm not going to be able to get that. I was like, I do it all the time. Yeah. You know how many wholesalers send me deals and they're like 245, and I'm like, man, 205 is the max I can do. They come back, oh man, 212. I was like, all right, let's do it.
Done. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. So just due diligence, be able to negotiate, you know. So those are all keys for all you investors out there trying to make that move. Those are all keys and gems. And I'm sure there's a lot more things out there. We're just doing this, you know, real quick. But like I said, that's why he's there. I'm here, you know, for questions in regards to investing. But sometimes you got to break it down to simple, stupid, you know, and not because people are stupid, but the easier you break it down, the easier to digest. For those people that just really need a breakdown, let's say somebody from zero. Let's just start somebody from zero. Maybe they have a little money. You know, and they're like, what do I do? Where do I go? What area should I look into if I'm living in the Central Florida area? Like, what would be the little things you would guide and help with when it comes to something like that?
Look for a local investor to work with or even coach you. Okay. Work with a realtor like yourself that's done fix and flips before that can guide you and place you with the right people, right? Maybe give them a contractor to connect them with me, right? Or I'll connect them with you to find a deal. And then investorlift.com. It's a website. It's a website. Wholesalers go on there and drop deals all the time. Okay. Now, the numbers are not great sometimes on those deals. There's a lot of bad wholesalers. I'm going to make sure I make that disclosure.
Yeah, for everything, there's good and bad. Yeah.
Right. Well, there's a lot of bad wholesalers. They try to take all the meat off the bone. They fluff up the numbers. They leave
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. And they bring down what the rehab costs are going to be. So make sure, again, you're working with someone like yourself or me that's going to evaluate the deal and look at it. But there is some good wholesalers out there. Get on their list. They have an email list. And when they get deals, they'll email you the deals directly. Then they can shoot those deals over to you or myself. And we can say, yeah, this is a good deal.
It's worth it or not. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So that's a good source right there.
And where would you lead people, like living in this area? Like where should they look into, man?
Honestly, anywhere.
Anywhere, huh?
Yeah. We got a couple flips in Pine Hills. You know, Pine Hills is not what it used to be.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, you've seen houses go for $300,000 in there. It's crazy to think. When I remember, I don't know if you remember, but when I was younger, I remember seeing houses there for $20,000, $30,000.
Yeah, it was considered, and Pine Hills was a great area back then. It was super cheap. Yeah. It was lakes and stuff surrounding it. And, you know, obviously with time, things change and it got a bad stigma, but it's coming full circle again.
A lot of people, homeowners, are now buying up the areas, which makes it better. Correct. You know?
Correct.
Homeownership, you see people taking care of their properties.
There's more pride in ownership. So they take care of the outside, the landscaping. So visually is more appealing. Yeah. Visually appealing, brings up the value. So that's why everything is going up.
Right.
So in reality, it's not like a specific area to go to. As long as
the deal makes sense.
That's it.
And you have the money for the down payment, right? So like initially when I first started, I was staying under 150. Okay. Now I could buy 300, 400.
Of course, yeah.
But you have to have that 10% or 20% initially, right? So you're limited. So you want to buy stuff. I was buying stuff in Ocala, Brooksville, in the outskirts. You know, but this good profit margin. At the end of the day, you're still making 30% on your money. And if you really think about it, if you're putting 10% down, you're making 100, 200% cash on cash return. Yeah.
Which that's the sweet. Yeah,
exactly.
That's the sweet
and if you
spot.
can get an investor to cover that 10 to 20% for you, now your return's unlimited.
Damn. You see those little things right there for y'all and for me, myself and I, these are all gems that we're all soaking in. These are things that I'm also learning right now with things that you're telling me I haven't heard. So I appreciate once again the gems, man. Of course, bro. So, hey, for you guys looking into investing, my man right here got you. Genesis got you, man.
I got you guys.
All right.
Just give me a call.
All right, so I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. I'm going to put his information on there as well, but guys, thank you once again, mi gente. Gracias por todo. Sigan buscando. I'm going to actually do another one in Spanish because obviously this is a bilingual thing. I'm going to get this guy brushed up on Spanish too for the next one. But follow, subscribe, like, share, make a comment, whether it's good or bad. You need an opinion, you have a question, whatever it is, guys, just hit me up, and let's do beautiful things together. That's it.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it.